Hey, what's up guys, KS Kiral here. Now in this video I will show you how to dual boot Kali Linux with Windows 11. Now this guide is one of the safest and easiest ways that you could use to install Kali Linux on your PC or laptop. Also at the end of this video I will show you how to uninstall Kali from dual boot safely. Now keep in mind this method will work on any PC or laptop. Now as per my testing, if you follow this video carefully, you will be able to successfully dual boot your PC or laptop with Kali Linux. Now, the requirements of this video, you need a Windows 11 or Windows 10 running on your PC or laptop. Next, you need an 8 gigs or higher USB drive to create a bootable disk with Kali Linux. And lastly, you need to reserve a free space of 20 gigabytes or higher from your drive. Now that being said, now as you can see, this is my PC running of Windows 11 in UEFI boot mode with a GPT formatted SSD. Now if in case your system is running in legacy boot mode, now I made a separate video on dual booting Kali Linux with Windows. Now check the video link in the description. Now anyway, open your favorite browser and go to the official website of Kali Linux and download the latest version. Now by the time of recording this video, Kali Linux 2021.3 is the latest version available to download. Now Kali Linux is available in two versions. Now one can be used to install on a physical hardware. Another one is used to install a Kali Linux on a virtual machine. Now for now, I will be choosing a Kali Linux 64-bit installer ISO file. Now the second link in the description will take you to this page where you have to download a tool named Balena Etcher. Now this tool helps in creating a valid bootable USB with Kali Linux. Now once it's done downloading all of the files, place them somewhere on your computer for easier navigation. Now go ahead and connect your USB drive or pen drive to your PC or laptop and open Balena Etcher. Now click on this folder icon and look for the Kali Linux ISO that you have downloaded. Then choose the proper drive letter and click on write to start making a bootable USB with Kali Linux. Now sit back and relax. The process will take some time depending on the writing speed of your USB drive. Now to set up a dual boot to install a Kali Linux along with Windows 11, you need to create a free space. To do so, open a start menu, then type a disk manager, or typing this command will take you to the disk manager panel. Now disk manager is a place where it shows all of the connected drives to your computer. Now in this case, I have connected only a one drive to the computer, the drive 0, which is my SSD where Windows 11 has currently installed. Now I'm going to use this drive to shrink a free space for Kali Linux. Now if you notice carefully, inside this drive I have only 3 partitions. The one is named as EFI partition, the main C partition, and the last one is a recovery partition. Now I'm going to use a C drive to shrink a free space. Now in your case, you can shrink the free space from any partition. So right click on the partition and choose a shrink volume. Now for Kali Linux, you need at least a 25 gigabytes or higher. Now in this case, I'm going to allocate a 45 GB of free space for Kali Linux. Now as you can see, the free space is showing as unallocated, which is where we will be installing a Kali Linux in a moment. Now go ahead and reboot your computer. Now while rebooting the PC, I'm going to go ahead and quickly disable the secure boot from the BIOS. Then save the changes. Now head over to the boot menu by pressing F2, F10 or F12 on your keyboard. Now in here you can select your drive. Now in my case, my drive is a Transcend and I'm going to choose this option to boot into a Kali Linux setup. Now you can only use this boot menu option if your USB drive is not automatically booting into Kali Linux. Now choose a graphical install option, then choose the language. Now in this case, I will set English as my default system language. The next up, choose your location and keyboard layout. Now the installer setup will start loading all of the components. Now wait for a few seconds. Now if in case you see any prompt saying a missing firmware from a removable media, just gonna go ahead and choose yes to fix the issues. Now type the host name. Now in this case, I'm gonna type Kali. Now in the domain section, I will leave it empty. Now here you need to create a new user account. Go ahead, type your name in here and click on continue. Now go ahead, set the password for the user account and click on continue. Now it's time to create a partitions for Kali Linux. Now as you can see, you can either choose the automatic or manual method to create a partitions for Kali. Now if in case you're installing a Kali Linux on a BIOS MBR based system, then it's recommended to choose the first option, which automatically creates a partitions for you. But for now, I'm going to use the manual option. Now as you can see, it's actually showing all of the connected drives to the PC or laptop. Now this is the only SSD that is connected to my PC and showing over here. Now inside this drive, as you can see, all of the Windows related partitions along with the free space that we have created in step number 3. Now we're going to use this free space to create two partitions. Now if you notice here, every UEFI system has a partition named ESP, aka EFI system partition, which is where the Windows and Kali bootable files will be present. Now in this case, we are sticking with two partitions, root and swap, and the Kali will automatically install the grub bootloader in the EFI partition. Now anyway, first I'm going to create a root partition. To do so, select the free space and click on continue. Then click on create a new partition. And here we can allocate a minimum of a 20 gigabytes or higher for the root partition. Now in my case, I will use a 45 GB of free space for the root and continue. Now the file system for this partition will be ext4 journaled and the mounting point is set to be as /. Now once it's done, click on continue. Now it's time to create a swap area. Now swap memory in Linux acts as a virtual memory. Now if your system has a less amount of a physical memory. Now for example, if your system has a 4 gigs of RAM, then use a 4 gigs of swap area to make the system more responsive. Now for those who are having a more than a 16 gigs of physical RAM, then swap memory is not needed. Now anyway, to create a swap partition, choose the remaining free space and continue. Now here, instead of ext4, we're going to use it as a swap area and finish the changes. And that's it. Now we have successfully done creating a two partitions. Now go ahead, click on finish to make the changes to the disk. Now as you can see, these are the two new partitions here, and click on continue. Now the installer will start installing the base system. Now once it's done, you will be presented with this menu where you have to choose to install a desktop environment. Now you can choose GNOME, Arcadia Plasma, and XFCE. Now in my case, I'm going to install an Arcadia desktop environment and click on continue. Now sit back and relax. The installation process may take some time depending on the writing speeds of the disk. Now once it's done, go ahead and restart the computer. Now while it's restarting the computer, so remove the USB drive. Now by default, it will boot into a grub bootloader where you can choose to boot into a Windows 11 or Kali Linux. Now for now, let's boot into Kali. And that's it. This is how you do boot a Kali Linux with Windows 11. Now if you want to boot back to a Windows 11, now go ahead and restart the computer. And from the grub menu, choosing the Windows option will take you to the Windows 11. Now as a bonus part of this video, and if in case you don't like Kali Linux and decide to uninstall, then reboot your computer to Windows 11. Now keep in mind, this final part will only work for UEFI and GPT systems. Now for those who are installing Kali Linux on BIOS MBR system, now I made a separate video on how to uninstall a Kali Linux from Dual Boot, so you can go ahead and check the link to the video in the description. Now open the disk manager by typing this command inside the start menu or run dialog. Now here next to the C drive, you can see a new partitions which you have created while installing a Kali Linux. Now go ahead and remove these two partitions. Now you can see an unallocated free space that you can use it and expand the free space for Windows OS. Now go ahead, type cmd and run as administrator. Then inside the command prompt, type disk part. Now type list disk. This will show all of the connected drives to the computer. In my case, I have connected only one drive, which is where Windows and Kali Linux bootable files are installed. Now select this drive by typing select disk and the number of the disk. Now this will select the disk. Now type list partition to list out all of the partitions on this drive. Now you might see a 3+ partitions. Now look for the main ESP partition. Now in this case, system partition is known as ESP. Just gonna go ahead, select this partition by typing this command. Now once it's selected, I type assign letter equals to any kind of letter that you can give it to mount this partition temporarily. Now type exit to get out of the disk part manager. Now type the new drive letter that you have assigned with a colon, and this will change to that directory. And here type dir to list the contents of that partition. Now change the directory into an EFI by typing cd EFI. Now again, if I type dir, so this will list the contents of the EFI folder. Now here you can see the Kali boot files. Now you have to delete this folder, now otherwise your system will be stuck into the grub bootloader. Now anyway, to fix that issue, type this command rd kali and /s and remove the Kali Linux grub manager. And that's it. Now we have successfully removed a Kali Linux. Now restart your computer. Now the system should boot into a Windows 11 and you won't face any grub issues. Now this is how you properly set up a dual boot on your Windows computer with Kali Linux. And that's pretty much it. Now if in case you like this video, hit the thumbs up button down there and don't forget to subscribe to this channel and consider clicking the bell icon to get notified whenever I post a new video. Thanks for watching this video. This has been KSK Ryle. I will see you in my next one. Bye-bye.